Welcome to Mindfully Integrative Podcast with your host, Dr. Damaris G. Mindfully Integrative is a podcast discussing ways toward mindfully incorporating integrative health into our lives. This podcast will have informative resources, fun topics, interviews, and discussions relatable for today with a true mindful perspective in a mind-body, holistic life approach.
Hi, how are you? So this lesson is talking continuation on chronic stress, and this is actually about taming the noise of eating. So we are talking about the GLP-1s and weight management and your overall metabolic health. And how do you do that? Like, what is going to be to get rid of that noise? So I'm talking about noise when I talk about when people overeat, when they binge eat, when they undereat. There is a psychology component and behavior that will be utilized in food consumption. I mean, the idea of improving your metabolic health, that's why I say it's a tool when you're talking about the medications and even the natural boosting ways. If you don't improve the habits, you don't improve that overall noise that is coming up for an individual, that behavior, what can we do and how do we support it? So food noise itself is referring to that constant mental preoccupation with food, a persistent of cravings, individual that may have like frequent thoughts about eating, continuously planning their meals, which, we're talking about different parts of this in, how to eat and what to do. It's trying to find that balance and maintaining healthy habits without it overcoming every part of you. But this can contribute to weight gain, weight loss, and metabolic health challenges. So it's important to understand how mental health, food noise can be part of the equation when you're trying to improve your metabolic health and keep yourself in check. And what these GLP-1s do, these medications that are out now and have been available, is that it helps with behavior psychology. Behavior psychology provides like a tool, right? It's help about managing the noise. It's addressing the mental health and emotional triggers that we may have in our eating habits. It's kind of turning off some of that. What am I going to eat? How am I going to eat? Am I overeating, undereating, binge eating? Now, additionally to that, we recommend mindfulness and mindful eating. Now, that helps an individual understand when they're having cues, hunger cues, the hormone leptin or ghrelin for hunger, leptin about overeating, if feeling full. Is it impulsively eating? Am I hungry? Am I just thirsty? Am I bored? Am I aware of my choices, or am I emotionally eating? So there's a lot of those parts there. And you may need therapy to talk through this, identifying and altering patterns, negative thoughts around eating, reducing emotional eating. So that is additionally part of the equation. That's why I constantly say no medication is a full fix, but it is part of a tool and management. And in this GLP-1 agonist medications are very effective in lowering that noise, getting it to be not so much for you. And that GLP-1 agonist, receptor agonist, GLP-1RA, is like semaglutide, liraglutide, dulaglutide, tirzepatide, and designed to mimic that natural GLP-1 that we have. And again, like we've stated, the idea is to decrease the appetite, enhance the feeling of fullness, reduce the cravings, and support wellness and your weight and your overall metabolic health. That when you understand that this craving is actually acting from a specific brain reward, and you're trying to kind of turn off that frontal cortex emotional eating, that, some people have the need for that. And, that is where it's important to know that allowing yourself to be okay with either natural or medication-wise, this GLP-1s will help decrease that food noise, and it improves your dietary adherence, helps you make better choices. And that with therapy, if needed. So some individuals will still need behavioral therapy to get past and to improve I say most of us need some sort of journaling or some sort of mindful eating to get past that reinforcement of what it is to be healthy on a daily basis and what are your choices that you're making. The GLP-1 is just one of those parts that help drive decreasing the excess hunger and cravings, which in turn does help. It is, sometimes though these medications have to be on long term. Other times, you can find alternative methods if your behavior modifications have been improved. And if they're not, then you may have to, revert back and see what's going on. But it's being aware and having that mindfulness and that reset. And that's where this comes into play. And ways to integrate it even more are adopting mindful eating. So mindful eating is about eating slower, identifying what you're going to eat, savoring bites, and enjoying and satisfying without overeating. You wouldn't want to do it around the TV, not have your phone out, too much distractions, as much as you can. We live in a pretty busy world, and the ideal bite is about 20 to 30 bites per, piece of something or a drink. And you're sitting there really taking that time to do that. And most of the time, all of us in some manner are not. And when you can, you'd be so surprised how full you are. Like halfway through your meal, you'll be like, wow, I'm full. And that's not even with a GLP-1. That's just with mindful eating. Now, maintaining consistency with, if you are on medication with, psychology, like we're with a therapist or with a friend or a companion or community to connect. I'll put in the chat at some point, a community that will connect together if you need any assistance. And then regular behavioral check, if you need a therapist to help you with your overall questions. Now, I'll go into this further on another lesson. If you have any questions, reach out at any time. Thank you for listening to the Mindfully Integrative Show with Dr. Damaris Maria Grossman, family nurse practitioner. This podcast is for informational and educational purposes only and is not the substitute for professional medical advice, diagnose, or treat. Always consult your healthcare provider before making changes to your healthcare routine. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. If you enjoyed our show, please support us by leaving a mindful review on Apple Podcasts or your favorite streaming platform. Interested in being a guest or more information? Email us at info@mindfullyintegrative.com. For resources mentioned in the show, visit our website at www.mindfullyintegrative.com. You can also connect mindfully with Dr. Damaris on her social media links found on the site. May your strength and peace guide you to find a mindful way every day. Namaste.